Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great week. It's flown by for me. I wonder if it has for you too. I'm tired of the cold weather, but in Tennessee, we have it easy compared to our neighbors to the north. So I feel for everybody in the Midwest, on the East Coast, my thoughts and prayers are with you. I know a lot of you are used to this type of weather, but I know it's been especially bitter cold and full of snow, so I hope everybody is safe and sound and most importantly warm. Not to mention, of course, we continue to have a pandemic, so please be safe and be smart. I've talked about my collection of Atlanta Braves autographs. I've done, I think, 4 videos on that subject. Well, something I've also been recently collecting that I thought would make a little bit of an interesting series to just talk about the people that I'm collecting is I'm collecting autographs around the time of the Civil War. They don't have to be Civil War soldiers per se, politicians, maybe captains of industry also around that time. But those are another type of thing that I'm collecting. So I set a benchmark for myself that's a little bit difficult, but it's also a fun part of it. I wanted to see what was the cheapest autograph I could get from the time frame. So I was able to get somebody not only that did fight in the Civil War, but he was also a politician, a lawyer, a judge, fought in numerous wars, and I was able to get it for $15. $15. So that is my goal going forward, is to try not to spend any more than $15 on the autograph itself. So what I'm doing is I'm buying cut autographs like what you see here, and then I realize, of course, if I want to make it look nice, I'm going to buy a frame, I'm going to have a picture professionally printed, and then put it all together. And you'll see what that looks like here in just a second. So this autograph that you see is that of William Campbell. He was the 13th governor of the state of Tennessee, which is, of course, my home for any of you that are familiar with my channel. Back in that time, they served 2-year terms when he was governor. He had the opportunity to run again and decided not to, but I want to back up before that and talk about his military service. William Campbell, it's pretty interesting. He served in the military of the United States of America from parts of 1836 all the way to 1863. Whenever the country called, he was there to answer it. He fought in the Seminole Wars. He was born in 1801, fought in the Seminole Wars, fought in the Mexican-American War. Now, the really cool thing about his service in the Mexican-American War, one of the unfortunate things is the 1st Tennessee Volunteers that he actually commanded suffered the majority of the casualties in the engagements that he was a part of. But that particular Tennessee Volunteer Regiment would be very famous for the state of Tennessee, and the effects are still felt today. The reason why we are nicknamed the Volunteer State, it's on all of our collegiate sports teams, is because of the volunteers from Tennessee during the Mexican-American War. They had been seeking somewhere around 4,000, and 20,000 plus Tennesseans signed up to fight. And so therefore it stuck. Tennesseans became known as the Volunteers. Then comes the Civil War. Now, William Campbell had been a Whig. He was a staunch Unionist, wanted no part of seceding. When he saw that that was coming, he realized that he would have to either go with the flow or he would have to stick to his guns, and that's what he did. When he was encouraged to run as military governor of Tennessee, he declined. He was also offered a commission in the Confederacy. He declined that. Abraham Lincoln offered him a commission as a brigadier general in the Union, and he accepted that. This was in May of 1862, but by January of 1863, he would have to resign his commission, mainly due to poor health. Now, in addition to his war service, his life as a lawyer, he was appointed a circuit judge. He was a 4-term member of the U.S. House of Representatives. He also was an advisor to Andrew Johnson. And during President Johnson's impeachment trial, he was defended by none other than William Campbell. This was an impressive individual. It puts me to shame when I think of my accomplishments, but it really shows you that people that had a gumption to serve had the opportunities during this time, and where there was a will, there was a way. And he was a man who had a life well lived. So it was really a pleasure getting to know about William Campbell. And so here is the finished product. I bought the frame off Amazon. It was around $17, an 11 by 14 with a pre-cut mat. The photo I printed from Walmart.com, it was less than $3. And then of course the autograph itself was $15. So for roughly $35, I've got a pretty nice autograph picture to display in my office. Now, I've already been able to secure a second autograph for $15 as well. I have the printed picture, I have the frame, and I'll cover that in another video. But just a little piece of Americana that I try to collect. William Campbell. Oh, and I almost left out an important part. And you may think, well, what more could this guy have done? He's been involved in a great deal of things in American history. Well, I said that he resigned his commission in January of 1863 because of poor health, and that was true. But there was also a second reason. He didn't have the heart to fight his friends and neighbors. He couldn't do it. And that's what he was asked to do, was to fight fellow Tennesseans. So his failing health was what allowed him to go ahead and resign his commission. But even though he was staunchly against the Civil War, heavily pro-Union, he just couldn't find it within himself to kill his friends and neighbors. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.